Hi, this is Steve from yourcreativelife.com talking today about editing. Now, I know you're a writer and you're here to learn about writing things, but you may eventually, if you move up the food chain in the TV world, or if you come to this world from a different perspective, you might already be a producer or you might become a writer producer. And so at some point, maybe you'll do some editing yourself, but this is really about what editing is and how we as writer producers interface with the editing process. Now, there is the instance where, and this happens on some shows, but not others, where as the writer of an episode, you're actually sitting next to the editor of the episode and looking at the scenes and talking about how to get the scenes to work better and have the episode be tighter, and perhaps certainly time is a big thing in television. Episodes can only run so long and sometimes you have to cut things out or all of that. But there are a number of different things to think about when you're looking at a cut, an edit of a particular episode. So in the phase that we're in right now and will continue to be in on the show that I'm on, we are getting and allowed to see cuts, versions of the episode before it goes to air, where the showrunner, the editor, and perhaps the writer of the episode are asking the other writer producers and the other writers to take a look at the cuts and to see how they are and to see what works. So if that really scares you, or if you've never done that before, if you're just curious, I wanted to give you a few tips on how to deal with editing on a TV show. Not how to edit yourself, but what perspective you can bring as a writer storyteller to the editing process that might help the show create a better episode or series of episodes. So the first thing I want to talk about is how the effort, the most important thing is about the story being told well. And in order to do that and communicate to an editor about certain things that might need to be improved or that could be thought of as something to fix, you're going to look for the time code, which is a series of numbers, usually up, in the screen somewhere, that says the time of the episode as the time goes by. So it'll say 1 minute, 1 minute and 20 seconds, 1 minute and 30 seconds, 3 minutes and 22 seconds, 4 minutes, and all the way up to whatever it is, 45 minutes or whatever the top length of your episode is. So you're going to be looking at that time code, and if there are things that you think need to be mentioned to the editor or to the executive producer or whatever, you're going to write that time code first. So this is the methodology that I use. I'm going to write the time code, 4 minutes and 32 seconds. I'm going to write the challenge. In this scene, this character seems to be X. And then I'm going to write the solution, the possible fix next to that. You might try blah, 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 right? And so that's the methodology, the time code, the issue, and a possible solution. Now, all of this, just like in the writer's room, is simply my opinion. I put it forth, and I'm not attached to whether the editor or the showrunner takes my suggestion, but I'm here on staff as part of the team to give my suggestion. And that's what this is really about, how to do that. So with that methodology, with the notion that we're watching a cut, here are some things that I look for that I might make comments about. The first one is story clarity. It's all about story clarity. So how are these scenes working in terms of the story? One thing that I look forward to or look at is the words. Is the dialogue clear? Are the moments between the actors verbally clear? So if somebody walks into a scene and then they start mumbling or stumbling over the words, then that's something that I might make a note of, that maybe there's a better take where the words are clearer, or maybe we can boost the volume as a solution if the actor begins to dip in volume and it becomes difficult to hear that person. So that's one thing I'm looking for. Are the words clear in the scene? Second thing I'm looking for is performance. And it's about how these characters interact. Sometimes there are moments where the characters really need to be bumping up against each other. And hopefully I can see that on screen on the dailies. But if I can't, maybe there are fixes to that, which might have to do with cutting back and forth more quickly between two actors so that the energy of the cut actually gives us the sense of a back and forth that's a little more vigorous. Or again, I might have somebody or invite them to turn up the volume so that it feels a little more aggressive. And those sorts of things might help. Or I might just say, is there another take where this actor is stronger? Is there another take where this actor attacks the scene a little bit more? So overall, looking for story clarity. And within that, I'm focused on words and whether I can hear the words, whether the words are crisp and perhaps in the right volume or pitch or energy. And the other thing is a performance piece where I'm saying to myself, does the energy of this actor convey what I was thinking when I either read the script or wrote the script? And those things are things that I can begin to look at throughout an episode so that I can make suggestions to an editor. One other thing that I might look at too, which helps with all of this, is music. Because when I get a cut of an episode, it's got music. It's scored with music throughout. Now, sometimes some editors and some composers for shows are pulling music from other places and putting them down in a temporary track so that we have a sense as we watch the episode whether the music sort of serves the scene or how the music informs the scene. And I might have some thoughts about that. Oh, this music feels too bouncy to me, or I love the way this underscores the scene, or it feels way too ominous for what's going on here. And those suggestions I can also make, again, with the time code, mentioning that particular issue and then suggesting, is there another piece of music, or can the volume be turned down on this music, or is there something more bouncy or less bouncy like that? So anyway, so that is the whole sort of overview in a simple way. If you're new to editing, if you're stepping into a show for the first time and you get to look at cuts, you want to begin to bring these sensibilities to bear, and always with the time code, because that's going to save your editor some challenges when the editor, if the editor chooses and the showrunner chooses to follow your suggestions, the editor will have to go back to that specific place in the episode to begin to adjust those things or look for solutions. So that time code becomes incredibly important. So those are a few things about editing. I hope that is enlightening and useful to you in the world of TV and in the world of your own projects even. The more you can very specifically and clearly put forth suggestions and ideas, editors really appreciate that, because there are a lot of people out there who haven't done this before. This is what I've heard, who get vague, who say stuff like, well, I don't know, this scene doesn't work, but I don't really have any suggestions. That's not helpful. Or yeah, that performance is not great, but no, I don't know, right? Much better to say, here's the issue, here's something you might try. Here's the issue, here's something you might adjust, and begin to make suggestions so as to give your editor some things to think about in terms of making the scenes tighter and better, faster and smoother, whatever it is, for the particular episode you're in. Put any comments you have about the editing process. This is, of course, a very 30,000-foot view of this particular, obviously much more in-depth process, but it's a way to step in as a writer into the process, and I think it will be useful. But if you have questions, put them in the comments below. Let me know what works for you and what you have thoughts or inquiries about, or other suggestions if there are things that you know that I didn't mention here in this video. Give it a thumbs up if you think this is a good video, and definitely like, as I said, and subscribe to this channel so that you can get all the juicy goodness. I create these videos every single week, and I try to put them out so that you can be helped in your writing career with information that will enhance what you're doing now and what you may be doing in the future. Also, go to yourcreativelife.com, which is my website where you can find out about coaching, where I can specifically and particularly and personally help you with your writing life with either career advice or writing advice, or give you comments on scripts or those sorts of things. That's something that I do in between my busy times on shows. And you can also, on that webpage, find a link to this YouTube channel, find a link to the Secret Writer podcast, which is coming back soon, but there are 10 juicy episodes in the queue. And you can also subscribe to my newsletter, which also comes out once a month. So hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.